This is the GTN Show.
Yeah, we have a jam-packed show this week. This weekend we had a ton of racing taking place. In fact, congratulations to anyone out there that was taking part themselves in a race. It seems like half the world were on a start line this weekend. Anyway, the big news this week is that Lucy Charles-Barclay has announced that she is focusing on qualifying for the next Olympic Games.
Yeah, pretty big, huh? Bermuda are continuing to celebrate Flora Duffy's amazing gold medal with naming a few landmarks on the island after her. We've also got some more news coming from Yang with his S-Grail 100 adventure race.
Oh, and did you see the big news about Lionel Sanders rumouring his new coach? And it's not who you might have expected. And of course, we have a ton of race news to catch up on.
All right, we're going to start with things that we have spotted in the world of social media. And we're going to talk about Flora Duffy again. I mean, she's got Flora Duffy Day, we've mentioned that, but there's now a few other things that are there in Bermuda to celebrate Flora Duffy. You might have heard of Corkscrew Hill, which is a pretty famous hill in Bermuda that the triathlon goes up. Well, that is now going to be named Flora Duffy Hill. It doesn't stop there though. We've got the National Sports Centre that was previously known as Southfield Stadium is going to be the Flora Duffy Stadium. And it carries on. Apparently the post office, the Birmingham Post Office is going to do something to recognise Flora's performance.
Do you reckon a stamp?
Well, no, I do think she's going to be like
cool.
Queen status. Like we have in the UK, the Queen on our stamps.
You've made it when you're on a stamp, haven't
yeah.
you? That's
I mean,
cool.
I think she's made it, but I mean, it continues. She's got an artistic mural announcement, not quite sure what that is, but she's also going to have a statue commission and an open air tribute concert. It's just crazy. I love it. I mean, I just love how excited Bermuda are for that, and I think it's just great for Flora and great for triathlon.
I'm sure they're very proud of her, but I'm sure they're very happy they get to celebrate all of this because of her as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Also, we spotted that Sophie Caldwell is doing another raffle with all her Team GB kits. She did the same a few years back, and this is all for the charity Alfie's Dream. Unfortunately, Alfie suffers from what's known as reverse Rett, which is a disease that unfortunately hinders the development of the brain. So she is raffling off all this kit. It's 2 suitcases full of everything from swim hats, bike shorts, swimsuits, jackets, you name it. It's £5 per ticket for the raffle, and then they'll be picking out the winning person for those two, well, one per suitcase, not one for both.
Well, it sounds amazing. I mean, yeah, all of that kit, quite some very lucky winner. And there's still a chance, I think, just had a look, there's still people putting in money in, so go check that out right now. We've also spotted a little teaser from the Breaking 7. So we know that there's a team of Alistair Brownlee and Christian Blumenfeld, a big team behind them, who are trying to break the 7-hour Ironman distance in the summer. The women are also going for the Breaking 8, and that's Nicola Spirig, isn't it, and Lucy Charles-Barclay. But we don't know where it is, but there's a little sign here that it is in Europe, and this photo of Chris McCormack sat on a speedway track. So if any of you guys know your speedways and can let us know where you think this might be, we'd love to know.
Yeah, it does look very exciting. Also, obviously, for those cycling fans out there, we had a very big race this weekend, Paris-Roubaix. We've got a few very interesting, fun shots from Instagram from that race. So one of which is the 3 leading men coming to the finish line. I just thought it was comical, just the amount of mud they are caked in, just sprinting towards the line.
I think their sponsors might be gutted that they've got these athletes winning such a crazy race that you can't see who they're sponsored by.
Also, the treacherous road conditions displayed by Lizzie Dagan here, as well as her handling skills, which were very impressive. We'll talk more about the results very shortly. And then also, just not only is this brutal on the body, going over all the cobbles, but obviously brutal on the bikes as well. Check this out.
On to Tri News, and one of the big bits of news which has certainly got us excited is from Lucy Charles-Barclay announcing that she is going to be targeting the Olympics in just 3 years' time for Paris 2024. She's teased us a little bit with that in the past, and she's obviously just come off the back of that incredible win of her first World Championship title at the 70.3s, and she's quoted here saying that Paris is definitely one of my next aims. The Olympics have always been in my heart from when I was a young swimmer.
Yeah. as everyone knows, she came from swimming prior to triathlon. Unfortunately, narrowly missed out on being selected for GB for the Olympic Games. She then transitioned to triathlon and kind of went straight to long course triathlon, bypassing the short course scene. However, she has recently had some short course experience. Earlier this year, she debuted in the World Triathlon Championship Series in Leeds after someone pulling out just a week beforehand, and impressively finished 5th.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, isn't it? But she's got her work cut out. I mean, the depth in the British women's team is crazy. We've seen obviously great performances recently from Jess Learmonth and Sophie Coldwell, Georgia Taylor-Brown. There's still the likes of Vicky Holland and Non Stanford, and Beth Potter's one that's coming through. So it's going to be a really exciting few years for the British squad, and I think it's only going to raise the game of the others as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Very exciting.
Well, sticking with Lucy, we know she loves to race, and she just hasn't really stopped. After her 70.3 Worlds, she went and raced in Malibu for the Super League, and then this weekend she just went and casually did London Marathon, and from all the photos I've seen, it just looked like she was having a great time. She managed to clock a 2:47.53. Reese also did a pretty good run of 2:43.06. One of my friends who was doing the marathon actually sent me this photo. He said he got to run with Lucy for about 1K. He came in at around 3:04. That's my friend Toby. So I think he was pretty chuffed. More chuffed to get the selfie than he was with his time overall, I think.
Good work. Also, let's check in on Shalane Flanagan's crazy World Marathon Majors attempt. Now, she is an ex-elite runner, and she set herself the insane challenge of trying to run 6 World Marathon Majors over the course of 7 weeks. Now, ordinarily, they would be spaced out over the course of the year, but due to COVID, they've all been condensed somewhat. So last weekend, she raced Berlin and just ran a casual 2:38. This weekend, London, she ran 2:35.04. The big one, though, is this coming weekend. She's got to do Chicago and Boston on the same weekend, consecutive days. Obviously, a flight between the two, not too far, but, you know.
I wonder how much her times will drop off. Like, if she will purposely go slower on Saturday,
I mean,
like to then allow her body to have a chance.
I'm really interested. I mean, just to do a 2:35 this weekend is insane. But whilst we're talking about marathons, I really enjoyed this post from GB elite runner Jake Smith. He was a pacer for the men's elite race at the London Marathon this weekend, and he clearly took his job very seriously because he went to the extent of shaving the target pace into his hair.
I love that.
2:11.30.
It's just brilliant, isn't it?
I'd like to know actually how close he ran to that pace. It'd be very interesting.
I mean, these pacemakers are incredible themselves, aren't they? Well, there was so much incredible running, including at the front of the women's field. It was won by Jocelyn Jepkoskai, but once she crossed the line, she was quickly informed that during the race, pretty much, she had lost her previous world record for the 10K. I mean, she did go on to say, like, she didn't mind, she just won the London Marathon and was pretty ecstatic. She clocked a time of 2:17.43, and in fact, there were the top 5 women all went under 2:19, which I think is the first time that's ever happened. So the consistency at the top of the field was incredible. But it was actually, moving on now to that 10K, that was broken by Kalkadan Gazegne and the Giants Geneva 10K. Now, we've had a few bits of confusions in the past of 10Ks. This was a road race 10K, and it was a mixed event. So she ran a time of 29:38 to beat Jepkoskai's time, which was the 29:43 that was set back in 2017. So world records there, but titles at the London Marathon as well.
And now for some more Ironman World Championships chat. I mean, it wouldn't be a GTN show without some chat about the World Champs, would it? Firstly, though, Taupo, New Zealand. Now, this was originally meant to be the location for the Ironman 70.3 World Championships in 2021. That then got postponed to 2022. It's now been confirmed for 3 years' time in 2024. And the dates, 14th, 15th of December in Lake Taupo.
Yeah, what a place to stay and spend Christmas.
Oh, that sounds
I'm
good.
going to start training now.
Yeah.
Sticking with World Championships, can you believe that it would have been this weekend, would have been Kona in whatever normal times were? I mean, it's crazy, it's crept up so quickly.
It really has.
But yeah, super exciting that Zwift are actually still celebrating it, and they're doing similar to what they did last year, the 17 hours of Kona, and they're getting various pros to cycle and run, and we can all join in when we like during that time. So it's starting UK time, 6 p.m. on the Saturday, which goes through till 11 a.m. on Sunday morning. I mean, not the most sociable time of the week, but there's going to be a lot of big pros, and it should be a bit of fun, a good bit of motivation if you want to go and check that out.
Let's also not forget Jan's little celebration of what should have been Kona. We mentioned this on the show last week, his plan to bring everyone together in a bit of a celebration in Girona in October. They're calling this the S-Grail 100. It's taking place on the 31st of October, and it's a 100k adventure race, swim, gravel, and then trail run. It starts with a 2k swim into an 88-kilometre gravel ride, and then finishing with a 10k trail run, and conveniently ending at Jan's Cafe in Girona. The individual entry cost is around €200, I believe, and comes with a fully loaded goodie bag, which I'd imagine would be pretty good if it's coming from Jan. Yeah. I gotta say, after his tri-battle early this year and then this, he's not only dominating in racing, he's taking over on the events.
I mean, he must have a big team behind him, because like with all of this, when would he train? He's got an Ironman coming up, which he's probably going to nail, isn't he?
Yeah.
So, it sounds an exciting event.
It really does.
Fingers crossed we can, get involved. On the other side of things, Lionel Sanders is taking things more seriously. He has found himself a new coach. Well, since August, when he left David Tilby-Davis, there's been a little bit of chat of who's it going to be, a few kind of jokes that could be Camworth. It isn't Camworth. So Lionel has actually announced on his channel that it's going to be Mikael Eden, Gustav Eden's brother.
Yeah, and he's a pretty accomplished triathlete himself. I think he placed or won Ironman Tallinn a few years back. He's also been a coach for the Haugesund Triathlon team. Which is where Gustav grew up. Him and his brother grew up in that area for some years now. Also being assistant coach for the Norwegian national team. So he knows what he's talking about. He's a very cool guy as well.
Yeah, well, I think we'll probably, fingers crossed, get to see him on Lionel's channel in not too long. You know, Lionel loves to share it all, and it'd be interesting to see a bit more of the Norwegians.
And I've got to say, it's not who I expected, but I did like Lionel says he's excited to learn, and we'll definitely have Gustav on the YouTube channel soon. So yeah, watch this space.
Well, earlier we touched on the Paris-Roubaix exciting finish in the men's race, but there was a big first this weekend. It was the first ever women's version of the Paris-Roubaix, and it was won in style by Lizzie Deignan. She made a breakaway and she held it off, and just incredible scenes to win such an iconic race.
It was phenomenal. I've got to say, sorry, just to but like she broke away so early on and just went solo.
And I don't think it was planned. I don't think from the team behind it was another athlete.
From what it looked like, it just almost seemed like she just was too strong. She just almost pedaled away, was very skillful on the cobbles, so yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And actually, her finishing, she's not that muddy because she was just at the front for so much of it. However, there's a bit of a sort of sad tinge to this. I mean, incredible that the women are having a race. However, it's slightly, I guess, embarrassing the amount of prize purse they got. It was about a 20th of the men's. So Lizzie won $1,535 compared to the men's $30,000. And it wasn't just the prize purse with the disparity. They didn't actually get live coverage until about an hour 40 into the race. And I think the breakaway had already happened by then. So that was kind of the key part. So yeah, kind of it's a bit sort of chicken and egg, and it feels quite uncomfortable. And I'm amazed the UCI allowed this to happen, because everyone's eyes are on this race.
I guess the nice bit of the story though coming out of this is that Trek Segafredo, which is the team that she represents and races for, actually topped up her winnings up to that €30,000, which is fantastic, obviously, but the team shouldn't be having to do that. And it's actually interesting looking at other areas of cycling, because it's actually better in women's mountain biking, cyclocross. They've all got equal coverage, equal prize purses, and also, look at us guys in triathlon. Yeah. We've actually got equal prize purses from men's to women's. So what is going on with road cycling?
I know, it's absolutely bizarre. But hopefully, this has really maybe embarrassed the UCI, and if that's what it takes, hopefully they're going to do something about it.
Now for the race news, and we had a lot of racing this weekend, but more specifically, let's look at the pro racing. So a Challenge Salou, where they actually had to cancel the swim due to strong winds and essentially shore dumps, and they made it a duathlon, 5K, 90K, 21.1k. Although I'm a little bit skeptical of that 5k, because the times are very fast, and understandably they probably had to make a 5k course very quickly. So I'll give them the excuse there that it might be a tiny bit shorter, but some fast racing nonetheless.
Yeah, very much so. Well, the women's race was dominated by Lisa Norden, and we know how strong she is on the bike, and she actually won by almost 8 minutes ahead of Els Visser of Netherlands, and Lucy Hall was I think, quite annoyed that she missed the swim being her strongest, but she managed to get on the podium in third.
Yeah, on the men's side, we had Colin Chartier taking the win there ahead of Jorik van Egdem and then Robbie Deckard in third. We also had Ironman 70.3 Memphis this weekend. We had Jason West taking the win there ahead of Bradley Weiss and then Mark DeBrick taking it third.
Well, on the women's side, it was another win for Ellie Salthouse. She'd come off the win from Augusta 70.3 the weekend before. She was just ahead of Jackie Herring in second and Ali Bauer was third.
Yeah, we're now moving on to some of the PTO World Rankings because it's getting really exciting now. We're coming to the close of the year and the athletes can really cash in on that prize purse at the end of the year. So after Chattanooga last weekend, the points have now been announced. So Joe Skipper now goes up a place. Cody Beals, though, is the big mover, moving up from moving up into 59th place, moving 23 places. And that is partly due to the fact that he now has a third result to add to that. Sky Munch has also moved up 2 places, now into 8th. And that is quite a big jump within that top 10, so very exciting. Memphis points obviously to be confirmed, the same with Salou. So Jackie Herring currently in 13th and Ellie Salthouse in 14th, but we'd expect Ellie to now take over Jackie with that win this weekend. Same with Colin Chartier, currently 30th, but his win in Salou will probably see him moving up the rankings as well. And we've got to remember, he was outside of the top 100 at the beginning of this year, so he's really moved up considerably. Coming up to this weekend, though, we've got a lot of excitement because Annie Haug is going to be taking part in Ironman 70.3 Lanzarote. She's currently in 5th place, but if she managed to equal or better her point score from the last time she raced Ironman 70.3 Lanzarote, which was her first 70.3, she will move up into at least 4th and really knocking some notable athletes out there. Another one with Challenge Budva, Magnus Ditlev currently in 15th and could move his way up into the top 10 with a good result this weekend. So lots going on. Wow. I'm very excited for this weekend.
I think you need a round of applause for kind of getting all of that in, because I'm left just listening going, oh my goodness, people are like moving here, there. It's like you should be working on the stock exchange or something of like seeing all these numbers.
Well, I mean, I've got to take my hat off to Torsten because he mostly is doing all the number crunching for us. But if you aren't following along to this, I do suggest you take a look at the PTO website because there's a lot of movement on there and it's fantastic for looking through all the results, the archive of results, because this really is quite a big thing for the pro athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Alrighty, it's time to take a look at your photos. And we're a bit bike heavy this week, but there's some great ones. First from Jeremy with his Cervelo P5X. It's at the Harriman State Park for the Tuffman Triathlon. And he says apparently it's the first time out with his full NV disc. And in his own words, wow.
Wow at that setup as well. It's a really cool setup, isn't it? P5X and the NV front and disc rear.
Yeah, it looks fast.
Very nice. Next one from Andrew, and he's riding a North Road Ares, or ARES, a brand I've not come across before, but a really cool paintwork on it. He said he smashed 63 minutes off his long course PB, which was in Ironman Zurich in 2019. Very, very happy.
God, that's a huge PB, isn't it? Oh
massive.
My goodness. And then we've got this wacky job here from Jim. It's another Cervelo. Well, this is the PX series from 2020. He's in the Chicago suburbs. And his new bike arrived just in time for the last TT of the season. And as I was reading this, I was thinking, hang on, TT, but he preempts me here. The race series is sponsored by American Bicycle Racing and not USAC, so tri-bikes are legal. Apparently it took him 11 months to get this project completed.
I've got to say, I mean, it's a slightly cheesy paintwork, but I love it. It's awesome. It's so cool.
It is so bold.
But yeah, he's got a 1x setup on there. Zip NSW 454 wheels. Oh, sorry, he says that's his training wheels, and he's got.
I was going to say, I kind of feel like the bike would look better with deeper wheels. I mean, I know it's all about looks, but...
He says he's got an 858 and a sub-9 disc.
Oh, that's all right
so, then. Quite the setup. Yeah, fantastic work. Please keep sending in your photos. Don't forget to send in your swimming and running ones as well. Using the photo uploader, link is on screen right now. You can find it in the description down below too.
It's Caption Competition time, and last week we had this photo. We've got a few runners up to get us started. First, from Rob O'Hagan. Super League is going to turn the triathlon world upside down. Seems a bit extreme. I'll just start with this sign.
Very good. Velo David, being knocked out can turn some people's entire perspectives upside down.
Good one.
Nice.
We've got Big Hammer with, if you can read this, it's for you.
I like that one. But the winner is Robert MN, demonstration of the proper way to inform an Aussie they're disqualified. I like that. You're the winner. Get in touch and we'll ping a cap out to you very soon. But for this week's Caption Comp photo, it comes from Ironman 70.3 Memphis. No surprises there, with Elvis Presley. And this time, I think we may have featured an Elvis Presley on the channel before, but as a spectator, this time an actual competitor.
Yeah, he's getting involved, isn't he? He's got his number on, but still time to give us a strong pose.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, get your captions in, drop them in the comment section down below. But that is it for the show this week. We have loads coming up on the channel, including a very interesting challenge with us presenters as we do a little laser run.
Oh yeah, you're going to have to wait to know exactly what it is, but it's on the lines of modern pentathlon. And James and I were trying to put Mark through his paces. We have to wait for that one. We've also got the next in the series of the beginner versus amateur versus pro, which has been a long time coming, so I'm excited to see that come out this weekend. And you might have noticed, well, you kind of can't not this week, that Mark and I are twinning. We ought to really kind of chat before we come on the show, shouldn't we? But keep an eye out as well on one of those videos I mentioned, because it's a bit of a teaser of some new kit coming to the GTN shop, which is very exciting. But in the meantime, go check out these jumpers. We've got plenty of stuff online at the moment.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed today's show, please do give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe just down below. And also, go check out Heather's Weekend Warrior video, where she does a heck of a lot of triathlons within one weekend. It's well worth a watch.